Yet, a substitute cycle, Kim knows it's truly hard. For me, what does that mean? She had a truly difficult time tolerating the entire cycle, got it so mine. It's actually the most terrible. Hello, everybody. It's your number one tattle young lady back with some delicious news. The break between Kourtney's relationship with her family proceeds to develop, and we will see more proof of this hypothesis in the new time of their show, as what should be common knowledge at this point. The court has straightforwardly discussed a portion of her sentiments towards her sisters Kim and Khloe, yet that dramatization transmit viral actual battle. With just the beginning of their self-destructing in light of the fact that word has it nowadays that Kourt has been taking a punch at her sister Khloe for what she has been feeling towards her child Tatum, who was conceived through surrogacy. Clearly now everybody in my close family realizes about the proxy and the incipient organism move. I'm somewhat quite recently beginning to get my head around it. And I need to make this genuine. Such a foreboding shadow around something should be so euphoric, yet for the several months I've recently been somewhat disregarding it. I surmise evidently Kourtney doesn't endorse how Khloe was involving this issue as the fundamental subject in the show. Well, you realize how courtish she is, the most sensible among them, particularly with regards to delicate subjects. Khloe has been saying that it is turning out to be difficult for her to security with her child. And obviously Kourtney doesn't need Tatum to one day see this clasp of his mother expressing everything about him. You understand what much more individuals are cherishing Kourtney. Increasingly more every episode of the show, other than they have been picking on her, since they to some degree feel envious of the quantity of allies that she has, despite the fact that her life was not so sensational as her sister's oak. We as a whole have some familiarity with business Kourtney. We have all seen them stay with one another, particularly when there is a major debate that one of them is engaged with, and with how muddled Tristan and Khloe's relationship is, many fans are persuaded that Khloe never truly anticipated having a second kid with him. As I assembled, Khloe proceeded with it in the expectations that this would prevent Tristan from his undertakings. Then again, Kourtney was not content with how Khloe was saying that she got her child in any case. Tatum was conceived last August, and these card generators love to overemphasize their children. Names. Khloe reported the name of her second brought into the world in the season 3 opener of their show The Kardashians. As per her, he is Tatum, so Tatum and Troop. She additionally added, naming a human is truly hard, yet since he was conceived individuals began to ask why Khloe truly posts about him. She later on uncovered that she felt remorseful for removing Tatum from the mother, and furthermore guaranteed that she felt like she was just purchasing the child. Khloe likewise said, this I certainly hid from reality during that pregnancy. I didn't process what was occurring, thus I think, when I went to the emergency clinic. I truly feel that was whenever that it first truly enrolled. And it doesn't have anything to do with the child. It's simply you're similar to affirm we're having a child. And this is my child. And I'm bringing him back home with me in medical clinic. I truly imagine that was whenever that first truly enlisted. And has nothing to do with the child. It's Oak. We're having a child. And this is my child. And I'm bringing him back home with him. She continued saying, I certainly was in a territory of shock. I think from my whole involvement with General, I felt truly remorseful that this lady just had my child. And I take the child, and afterward I go to another room. And you're somewhat isolated. I felt it's such a value-based encounter, since it's not necessary to focus on him. I most certainly was. Overall, I felt truly remorseful that like this lady just had my child, and I take the child, and afterward I go to another room. And you're somewhat isolated. Like I felt it's such a conditional encounter to focus on him. Well, definitely nothing bad could be said about how Khloe at first felt, since it sort of checked out. The thing is, many fans brought up the way that she may be lamenting having gone through that interaction, in light of the fact that, for those of you who don't be aware, after Khloe begun the surrogacy cycle, she figured out that Tristan Thompson was bi. And by undermining her to exacerbate the situation, he even fathered a kid to cheerfully Nichols. Well, Khloe got no decision except for to keep having the child, since it is now their. Khloe likewise expressed this in the show. I wish somebody spoke the truth about surrogacy and its distinction. Yet it doesn't mean it's awful, it says, yet extraordinary, it's super unique. I wish somebody spoke the truth about surrogacy and its distinction, yet it doesn't mean it's awful or great. It's as yet incredible. It's really unique. Certain individuals said that Khloe was so valiant for transparently discussing these battles, while others, even her own sister Kourtney, could have done without the manner in which she was showing her issues. With the most common way of having Tatum, she probably been sharing this multitude of subtleties, since there was nobody who told her that planned to occur, and that it can cause her to feel a specific way. Yet perhaps Kourtney was trusting that she wouldn't let it out in the open, thinking about that they are renowned, and it can some way or another make an issue among her and Tatum later on. To see more about what has been up with the vehicle general tribe nowadays, then buy into our feed for seriously surprising and fermenting tea about this family. And more, continue to watch and hop in the discussion underneath, returning to the video for individuals who are saying that Kourt ought to be steady of her sisters. She is truly paying special attention to them by extending their viewpoint on the subject. Surrogacy is as of now dubious, and it is just lawful in a couple of nations, remembering a few states for the U.S. Definitely Khloe was not the primary famous person who took this street, yet it wouldn't damage to reveal some insight into surrogacy, as it sort of exploits the proxy mother thinking about that they are getting joined to the child they are conveying. We can all concur that it is different to convey the child inside you contrasted with having another lady convey your child. Yet perhaps Kim had the option to security effectively with Chicago and him, both brought into the world via proxy. Since she truly needed to have them, she actually had a decent connection with Kenny. When they had them, dissimilar to Khloe's circumstance, her satisfaction of having Tatum probably been obfuscated by how Tristan treated her. Now this made a ton of things unexpected on the grounds that Kim went through it as of now. Yet for what reason did she not caution Khloe about the potential disadvantages of going through the surrogacy interaction? Well, perhaps she cautioned her other than she probably perceived how Kim was in the wake of having Chicago himself home. It's that she probably gone through exactly the same thing. Considering an alternate explanation, additionally, they have all the cash to be totally mindful of the things that it can carry her, particularly its mental impacts, to both her and the substitute mother. They might have paid for however many experts as they need to ensure that they would know all that they need to be aware prior to beginning anything. You see, even Kourtney cautioned her about it. If by some stroke of good luck they paid attention to her, yet no, they seldom finished her recommendation, despite the fact that she is much of the time the most coherent leader among them. Come on, Kourt is doing anything she believes is right, without thinking often about their evaluations and prominence. She's not as fixated on ubiquity and virtual entertainment presence as her sisters. For this reason, Kim called her sluggish in any case, since she would rather not engage in that frame of mind of shows. Well, Kim will be Kim, and Kourt would be Kourt. I surmise Khloe is currently understanding that she shouldn't require some investment as a result of this.